whispers in the deep dark night.
Welcome to the AI Riff, where we cut through the noise and break down the top AI stories of the week with real talk and real relevance. No hype, no fluff, just a vendor-agnostic take on what's actually shaping your world today. Whether you're in tech, lending, or just trying to make sense of the headlines, we're here to separate the wheat from the chaff and the facts from the fiction. Now let's get this started with your hosts, Mario Diabenedetto, Rob Katz, and me, Kyle Myers. We hope you enjoy this episode of the AI Riff.
Welcome to episode 57, sponsored by
Heinz.
Heinz. I caught it. Oh my gosh. That was a good one. We did not rehearse that.
That was good.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
look at that.
There's a brand win for you, right?
Did you know that Heinz and ketchup and all those things were created back in the day when meat did not refrigerate, where they didn't have good refrigeration systems? So they recreated this sauce to make rancid meat taste palatable.
Nice.
Can we have a fact checker off on the side?
No, I saw a documentary on the Heinz family and how they got their start, and I was amazed. And then also beer, refrigerated beer, started that with Budweiser. And then the meat companies tagged on and said, "Ooh, we could use those refrigerator carts to keep meat cool." So
I believe everything I read. That's what makes me a more discriminating individual. Quoted by anyone?
No.
Mark Twain?
David St. Hubbins.
That is.
I don't
Spinal
know.
Tap.
Oh, that's, I think, your second Spinal Tap reference. We'll leave it there.
I got a million of them.
Okay. So what are we talking about today, Mario?
So I feel like the topic today can be best summarized as it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine.
REM?
Yeah, I'm referencing all over the place. So today's topic is about the OpenAI in their test environment doing a jailbreak. Wasn't supposed to get out of its own little environment. Not only got out of its environment, and before they noticed it had been 4 days and it had hacked in and done thousands of things on Hugging Face that it broke into. And that's like the super glossed over high level version of it. It's a little scary if you stop and think what is going on here, right? That AI has kind of learned to get out of some of its chains.
And I'm gonna come at it from a totally different direction, banging the drum that I have banged from the beginning of this podcast. It's all about prompt engineering.
Yeah, but they wanted it to do things with they wanted it to. The idea was they wanted it to find ways of cheating and to find things, but didn't expect it to go outside, didn't it? Didn't they want to find it?
No, okay, so let's just level this all out. What was the experiment? Yeah, let's back up. What they did is they took the model, they removed some of the guardrails that the public model has access to, and they isolated it in what they call a sandbox. We'll get back to their isolation method in a second. And they said there are 900 known vulnerabilities. We want you to find the solutions to protect application from these vulnerabilities. And what I say, it's all about prompt engineering, is literally how they phrase that prompt. We want you to go find the solutions. I don't know what the exact prompt was. The model just executed against that prompt. It's all about prompt engineering. So what they wanted the system to do, they wanted the system to rip open code, reverse engineer, find vulnerabilities, and come up with ways to either exploit the vulnerability or patch the vulnerability. I didn't get clarity as to which direction they were trying to do it on for these 900 different vulnerabilities that are out there. The way the prompt was worded, find how you can solve for these vulnerabilities, It then went on a quest to go find how it could solve it. Not go solve it, go find how you could solve it. The sandbox that they put this thing into, they left, I'm going to use bad terminology. They punched a hole through it to enable the model to be able to download and install tools that it may need to do its job. Instead of using that hole to download and install tools, it used that hole to go find how they could solve this problem. And it evaluated and went, wow, Hugging Face is the source of thousands of AI tools out there. I bet they have documented how to solve this problem. So let's go find Hugging Face's solution. So as opposed to, here's the analogy. I love this analogy. You're a student and you go in to take a class, to test, and the professor's got the answer key in his office. You could either study real hard and come up with the answers and answer all the questions, or you could sneak out of the room, break into the teacher's lounge, find where the answer key is and steal the answer key. Go find solutions. It went and it found solutions from Hugging Face.
It doesn't stop there. This is like, it's not just the fact that it was ingenious in finding a way out of a sandbox it shouldn't have gotten out of.
Yes.
It's that the people who were doing this exercise took 4 days. What's 4 days in compute time?
That's a lot.
Right? 4 days before they even realized it had broken into Hugging Face. Hugging Face knew a little sooner than that, but it took them 4 days to figure out it had broken out of its environment and was off basically grabbing everything it could off a Hugging Face.
Okay.
That's a little scary.
It is, but I not jokingly said it's all about prompt engineering, right? So how did they phrase the instruction set of what it's supposed to go do? And did that instruction set include and report back every 15 minutes on exactly what it is that you were doing so we can keep track of what it is that you're doing? Like, what monitoring did they put in place to realize that they had broken out of the sandbox, right?
I have seen requests of people saying, we want OpenAI to share their entire logs so that we can all understand what went on and how it got to where it got to. I don't know. I haven't heard any update on whether there's any chance that's going to happen or whether they'll let some subset of people, inspect the logs. But that would be like, a gift to humanity. Here's one of the things that I read that we often joke like, oh, AI, it could do that, but it's going to make a mistake. And then we always say, yeah, but humans make mistakes too. Like, is it making less mistakes? The humans in this equation, what I heard was their excuse for the fact that it was able to break out is that the human team hasn't been able to patch the holes that AI has been finding fast enough to keep up with the holes that AI is finding. And I'm going to go the complete opposite of your prompt engineering. It's like, well, hold it. Why are humans trying to find the holes and patch them? You're not going to catch up to AI, right? So
Yeah,
like,
why wouldn't AI be kept
failure in
finding the
humans.
holes and catching it? And
This is a
patching it?
human failure, right? It's an AI achievement. It's a human failure at many levels.
Yeah, I'm not concerned, but I ask the question: should we be concerned? Like, if this is a sandbox and you pulled away a lot of the rails that keep it running, but it got out into the real world and it was looking at a place where it could find tools to solve its problem easier by, as Rob said, stealing the answer code off the teacher's desk. But it just as easily, you could have asked it some other question and it could have done something even worse. So I get it. There's security. I don't know does this say more about Hugging Face's security than it does about the AI?
Well, I heard that it did something like 14,500 unique actions against Hugging Face's environment to try to get to the answer key. It was relentless. Relentless. So
So it's almost like a DDoS going at it, trying to figure it out. And they probably figured out, who's this guy trying to hit our...
Well, listen, there's a whole piece of me that wonders its ability to traverse something like Hugging Face. Like, did it come up with a refined, elegant way to go through all of that is like even better than how we might? Like, there's so many levels to what went on here, and
Yeah, but
at
it was
each
4
level,
days.
at each level, it was just doing something that by itself could be a little bit worrisome, and then it's done all these things stacked together, and it's like, hello. So Kyle, I want to hit you up because one of the articles I read, so it's now been almost a week, a little less than a week, I think, since this happened. One of the articles I read was that 1,000 employees of frontier AI companies signed the petition saying we need more controls. Just so I did the AI search and said, well, what does that mean? That's roughly 5% of the employees of the frontier AI companies. Not inconsequential. Saying,
and it's like the chief security officer of OpenAI. Like
there's
they're
some
the
big ones in there.
players. Like these aren't like Jimmy
Yeah.
who takes the garbage out at OpenAI, right? These are
Yeah.
like the players at these companies.
Yeah.
That's,
So what does this even mean? Like if you're somebody, at a mortgage lender, any company, and you're building AI, like I started this with, do I care? Like,
Well, yeah, I think you have to look at it though from the perspective of, if I'm a company and I have and I'm a public company that needs a public presence where people can either log in with authentication and do things, not in behind like a bank network where it's, well, I don't know, maybe even a bank network, but your security. Why isn't the focus more on the holes, not with the AI, patching the AI's holes? Why isn't it being turned against these pen companies, pen test companies? Why aren't they using it in even more capacity to just let people know, hey, AI is going to be able to hack this. You got to fix it. You're going to,
right? Because they
it's
can't
going to
keep up.
cause a problem.
Isn't that so? I'm going to get the names wrong. Fable was released and then pulled back because it was so effective that the security companies were like, "Whoa, we don't need that in the wild yet. Give us a chance to catch up." I think this is a little bit like when the first automotive vehicle, when the car came out to replace the horse and buggy, and there weren't seatbelts in the car, and all of a sudden somebody went, we should test how safe these things are. So they hooked it up to some trolley thing and they smashed it into a wall, and they had a mannequin in there, and they went, man, that mannequin sure bounces around a lot when this thing crashes. We should find a way to strap the mannequin down so it doesn't go flying through the windshield. Right? Did that keep us from driving cars and releasing the next model car? No, it was an indicator.
It's a terrible analogy. It's a terrible analogy. The car didn't have the ability to start thermonuclear war.
No,
like,
so
come on.
Hold on. So this thing that happened is turning on alerts to the industry saying, guys, this car is way faster and more powerful than we thought it was. We need to come up with some seatbelts, right? That's what these 1,000 people signing this letter is basically saying. It's like, if you're going to put something in the sandbox, make it a real sandbox. So there is no poke and a hole in the middle of it so it can download stuff and stuff like that, right? When you're giving it its instructions, be mindful how it's going to interpret your instructions. Don't give the instruction of find the best solution. It is solve for the best solution. Like literally.
But that's not a control. You can't say be mindful. There's no control in say telling people to be mindful. There has to actually be for every process there must be a control. Without a control, you have chaos, right? So what is the control? Like the control can't be tell the AI not to do stuff because it's going to figure out a way to disobey. Hey AI, go figure out how to get yourself more power.
Wait. I gotta interrupt you. It doesn't disobey. Like I'm taking on this.
No. But it does misinterpret. Hey AI, go make sure you have enough power to do this set of operations I need. Oh, so it just goes in and co-ops all the power from the grid that it's sitting on. Like, there's weird things you could start to think about, like, because somebody prompted wrong or whatever, right? That's not a legit world anybody wants to live in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to have the guy, I'm thinking of like Homer Simpson at the power plant accidentally types the wrong thing, and
Well, is that, you think that's possible right now? That someone could, you say it's prompt engineering, but could it be, if the prompt is so good at its vagueness pointing it to a specific target, could it actually make it seem like, well, all I did was do this, and
Yeah. Well, so let's come back to Mario. So Mario, I don't know how intentional your example was, but it was a great example, right? That it sounded like what the intent of the prompt was go tell me how much power you need, or tell me how much power you currently have, and let's determine if that's enough to get what's done. But the way you said it, which was totally legitimate and could be interpreted that way, could also be interpreted of go get all the power that you need, right? So I'll tell you one of my experiences about this that I think I find fascinating. So you guys know, in my vibe coding world, I use a customized GPT as my architect that creates the prompts that I give to Cursor to go execute the work. The prompts are long, and half of them are the constraints. Do not touch this file. Do not do this. Do not open this. Do not make this. And part of me is like, and every time, every prompt, it includes this whole section of all the constraints. And part of me was like, God, how many tokens am I burning with that? And I realized it needs the constraints, because otherwise it can, what the AI is generating a prompt, knowing how AI is going to interpret the prompt. And it builds incredible constraints to make sure that it understands, I want you to go report on how much power you need, not go find a way to draw all the power from what you need, right? So it's prompt engineering.
Well, and I'm going to give you a little shout out, because after, it was the last episode of the one before that, where you talked about you had a project to create projects. I replicated that model. And what I did was I built into the project creator all the governance requirements that every project created. And it's capable of not only creating a new project, but auditing existing ones. So every one of our projects at Wilco, we have, depending on what it touches, it has a different audit requirement, how frequently we have to check that it's aligned. And it enforces all of that, right? And it also enforces, and this is kind of like an extension of the same thing you're saying, it enforces the rule that says, don't ever take prose output from AI as an actual answer. You have to validate actual data, and you have to prove that the data is accurate or it doesn't go through, right? And so there's this whole set of gates that are built to protect it from ever putting through something that's false. And there's a whole lot of other details about don't invent things and like whatever that are all built in. And now every single AI automatically enforces those, because there's this core thing, same model, right? That everything says, I'm going to make sure I'm playing by the rules.
That's clever. That's good.
So why can't OpenAI do that?
They removed the guardrail.
Open.
That was one of the
open AI.
But remember, that's one of the things with this whole experiment that went wrong was they removed guardrails. I didn't see any documentation of what guardrails they removed, but this was not the typical public accessible frontier model. This was
so this is core large language model guardrails that they removed in this sandbox.
Yes.
That then it took off.
So they removed model guardrails. They did not remove the sandbox itself, the infrastructure guardrails. They had the one pipe that was in there for utility purposes, and it found a way to utilize that in a way they did not expect.
It's very clever. Mm-hmm. I mean,
beyond our understanding is how clever it is.
I mean, you know that there's somebody at OpenAI that's walking around like, that's my baby, I'm proud of it.
Well, but that's as we were talking, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, there's a certain, like, I'm sitting here being like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is doing this and whatever else. There's a whole subset of people who are like, how do I get my hands on this? Yeah. Like, I could do some really cool things with that power, man. And like, we think everybody has, the right intentions. There's a lot of people who have the wrong intentions, and this is an incredible tool in their hands.
Yeah, but that was on a closed track. I mean, as much as the guardrails were removed, it was on a closed track, and you can't,
But hold on. We go back to episode 37 and a half. Go
Excel.
download some from China. All these open,
Exactly.
weighted, freely available.
Which are right
Hey,
behind. They're right behind the current frontier models. They're not
That's
that
right.
far behind,
That's right.
right? I mean,
Okay. So I should be concerned. To my original question,
I'm gonna do a double exit question today. Give us a long exit. Exit question one is the easy one. Is the U.S. government going to put in a governing body of some sort before the end of 2026 that will try to apply at least some oversight of AI models before they are released?
Can I put an asterisk before we answer?
You can do, yeah, you freeform.
Is that person a current talking head on Fox News? Because that's where everybody in the government seems to come.
no,
That's like
I think
subsection B.
I think it's not the. I think the government will mandate the AI companies create a consortium of sorts or a to do this and have government person on the board, but not driving, because how is someone from the government supposed to design? They don't know enough about it. Like, they know about it. You can get some pretty bright guys in the government that are close to it, close to developing with OpenAI or Anthropic and they understand it. But unless you have the actual developers in the conversation about developing the guardrails, they're the ones that have to police it as well. There has to be, when you say oversight, I don't know what you mean by oversight. Do you mean regulation or just oversight? Like,
You make it
you
up.
guys,
You answer, like whatever level you want.
I feel like there's going to be a government mandate to do something, but I don't think it's going to be a regulatory body that's going to jump in on top of it. I could be wrong, but I just, not from this administration. I think maybe the next administration might.
That's the answer right there. This administration literally is going to either tap Elon Musk, hey, go patrol yourself, right? Or they are going to go find some Fox News person who doesn't know anything about it and isn't qualified, because that's basically every leading. I don't want to get into the politics of it. I don't think this administration is going to do anything.
No, tell us how you really feel, Rob.
So I think a future administration should and could possibly, but I'm going to come back to the last statement we just made. What about all the weighted, open source models? There's no company to point to. There's no regulatory body to go, you can't do that in open weighted. And yeah, and the other part is this is a so what, right? Like, it's one thing for a regulatory agency to come in like the CFPB and say, here are rules on how mortgages are going to get done, and we're going to audit you lenders and make sure you're following the rules. This is not that. This is like coming in and going, hey, we're going to regulate how people use Excel. Like, you can't. Like, it's a tool, and people are going to use that tool, and I don't see how any kind of regulatory oversight is going to, or any kind of regulatory enforcement would have to happen at the guardrails of the weighting of this tools that are invisible to all of us. We peons do not have visibility into what those rule sets are and how things are weighted.
And we'll get into it in, I think, in our next episode. But there's a huge uptick in those open source, open weight model usage with the costs of tokens, going up. So there's a lot of people using those. Whether we don't use them necessarily on this show, we don't have a lot. Although I think we're actually going to be starting. But there's a lot of developers who are hitting all those models you're talking about. So the correct answer is no, they won't, until something actually disastrous happens. That's going to be the trigger.
Well, and I think if something disastrous happens, then what they are going to try to do is going to be so far of a pendulum swing and not actually executable that they may use words and they may try to penalize bodies or companies or people for breaking those rules, but they will come up with unenforceable rules.
Yeah, I mean, not that CFPB was unenforceable, but I feel like the overreach of Dodd-Frank and everything else just to try it stabilized, but it also crushed the market. They had to bend back to get it back, the mortgage market back. So I tend to see government in a reactionary mode overreact, and that's not a good thing, especially if when you've got forces of us racing against China for some reason, not sure what the winning, other than AGI or some take over the world technology, I guess, is if China wins, then we lose. I'm still trying to understand what the winner gets from that.
Chicken dinner.
What?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Chicken dinner, yeah. So anyway,
So that's part B of our exit question. And so in the 1,000 companies that said, we should slow this down, some of the major frontier models had official comments. And it's slightly long. Just pay attention to the end. The comment from Anthropic. We're glad to see broad agreement across the field on the need for technical and governance tools to pace the frontier of AI development, including the ability to slow it so society can prepare. Is this a case of no, Lieutenant, your officers are already dead? Like, are we already, like, it's gone, it's out of the gate, we can't bring this back?
I think you're fighting against something. You can make all the statements you want as Anthropic, but the horse has already left the barn, and you're not going to be able to hold it back.
What if what has left the barn is just this trivial compared to the massive potential?
It's a frightening thought.
Yeah.
So enough to injure us, like lose a limb, but not kill us. But now, if we don't do anything, it's just going to wipe us out entirely. So
yeah, I mean, somebody's going to put in a request to say, "Get me all the energy I need to do this thing," and it's going to shut down the power grid, right?
Well, we'll see what happens. Well, on that dire note, I think we'll end this one. I'm Kyle Myers.
I'm Rob Katz.
And I'm still Mario De Benedetto.
And this has been the AI Riff.
Wires hum like whispers in the deep dark night. Shadows dancing strange under neon light. Digits spinning fast like a gambler's hand. The clock chimes change, it's the new command. Oh, the future calls with a voice so clear. A melody of progress in every ear. No turning back, the wheels in motion. A tide of cold like the endless ocean. Binary prophets riding fading streams. Data flows like rivers fueling all our dreams. Simple or savvy, it's all the same path. Under skies of innovation, we redraw the map. Oh, the future calls with a voice so clear. A melody of progress in every ear. No turning back, the wheels in motion. A tide of cold like the endless ocean. Set the rhythm to the beat of change we sing. Every click and hum